We are live. Welcome to Jazz Voices Live, where we're shining the light on great jazz vocalists from everywhere. Now, today, we are not having a chat with a jazz vocalist, but we're talking to Bill Burns, who is a baritone sax player, and he's the band leader for Bright Moments Quintet, and also there's another group, a quartet that you also lead, right?
That's right.
Okay. All right. And Bill is going to be kicking off our winter jazz series with the Bright Moments Quartet. So that's why I asked him to come on today. I want to talk to him and get to know him. So welcome, Bill. Welcome. Welcome to Jazz Voices
Thanks
Live.
for having me. Yeah,
Oh,
awesome.
great. So for those of you who do not know Bill, he has an extensive resume. He has, I'll just let me take a few minutes just to go over it. Okay. Um, You are an educator, um, and the founder and leader of Bright Moments Jazz Quintet and Unity Saxophone Quartet, member of the Dayton Jazz Orchestra, Psychoacoustic Orchestra, the Tom Daughtery Orchestra, and various regional bands. Your performance experience includes the Norwegian and Holland American Cruise Lines, Dayton Philharmonic, Northern Kentucky Symphony, the Blue Wisp Big Band, and you've played with such great players: John Pizzarelli, Arturo Sandoval, Diane Schuur, which is one of my favorite vocalists, the
Yeah.
Temptations, and the OJs. I was kind of surprised to see that on your list. Not surprised, but
Yeah.
that's awesome. And Bill holds a BA in music education from the University of Dayton and a master's in saxophone performance from the Cincinnati College-Conservatory of Music. And you're currently teaching at in the Centerville school system. Also, an adjunct professor at Sinclair Community College. Bill, you don't have any time. Like you have
Well,
zero time for anything else.
well, this isn't actually Bill. He had to send his clone
Yeah.
to make this work.
There is more than one
Uh,
Bill because you got kids and a wife. I know. How many
yeah.
children do you have?
Oh, two
You
beautiful
have two,
girls.
two
Yeah, senior and a
girls.
freshman, Isabel and Clara, and
Okay.
yeah, and I think my better half would probably agree that one Bill Burns is enough.
Yeah. I don't know about
Yeah.
that.
Uh, no, but
Oh,
that's really kind of you for the invitation. And yeah, and some of those things you just listed off was really, I hate to say it, but just being in the right place in the right time and
yeah.
having good friends. And my, my my cooperating teacher and for my student teaching back when I was at UD was a great retired band director now, Dan Decora. And Dan was the one that got me hooked up with some of those horn section gigs that you mentioned with the OJs
Okay.
and the
Yeah.
Temptations, and you know, so yeah, sure, because there's a lot of guys that can play. I mean, it's just, yeah, I tell my
Hmm.
students all the time, it's like it's not necessarily about being a competent musician. It's about having people skills and just being able to hang and just making
Hmm.
people feel good about being in your company, because that's what
All
music's all
that.
about. It's about bringing people there.
Right. So you're from New
But
York.
you know.
You're from New
I
York?
grew up in the. I am. I grew up in a town called New City, which is a New York City suburb,
Oh,
and
okay.
was born
Oh, are we buffering?
around there. And I went to a Catholic high school, hence the connection to UD. So I'll be really honest with you. I didn't want to go to college. I just wanted to play. I've always been a big SNL fan, so when I would watch Saturday Night Live, I'm like, hey, I can do that. That'll be my day gig, and I'll just do whatever I want to say. And oh, hold on, that's not how it works, and whatever.
Yeah, right.
So my mother, in her ultimate wisdom, was like, no, you need to find something that'll, like, feed you and all that
Yeah.
good stuff, and also keep playing and whatever. So
Hmm.
that journey brought me to UD, and
Okay.
I got a great education there, but I also learned a lot at the jam session that used to happen at a place called the Underground in Kettering, uh,
Mm.
with my good friend and former teacher Hal Melia,
Yeah.
and Hal led this incredible jam on Wednesday nights, and would go some weeks and come home with my tail between my legs, and
Hmm.
go some weeks and be like, hey man, look what I practiced, and just whatever.
Right.
So
Right.
and then kind of kind of went on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Willie Morris was my sax teacher at UD, and my junior year, I think it was, he brought in Rick Van Mater um,
Okay.
from the Cincinnati Conservatory to do a master class, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like blown away. And I remember, like, as part of the masterclass, people had to go around and play, and I went and played, and I was like, oh man, this is terrible. I don't even know what I was doing. This is just so embarrassed. And then at the end, Rick says, hey, well, I hope you think of us when you're looking for your master's program. And I'm like, what? You want me to audition for your master's program? You're crazy, man.
So
So,
wait a
you
minute.
know,
Wait a minute. When did you decide? when did you when did you decide you wanted to play that big giant baritone sax? When, like, were you, how old were you? Because you're talking
um,
about you didn't want to go to college, so it was way back. You were younger than a
yeah,
teenager.
yeah. So I played alto, and I still play alto, and I still play
Okay. I've
tenor
never
and
seen
soprano.
you.
And all
I've
that.
never seen
Yeah.
you play anything else. Okay.
Well, for jazz gigs, if I had a desert island horn, if I had one horn to play the rest of my life, it would be baritone saxophone every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I mean, I would just, you know,
Okay.
but it's funny you should. So Brad Good, phenomenal, in my opinion, one of the most, underrated trumpet players in jazz today. I mean, he is just a monster. If anybody's listening to this and just wants to check out a trumpet player that you're not familiar with Brad Good, look up Brad Good. He was the improv. Um, he taught the improvisation classes at Cincinnati Conservatory while I was there, and um, and I just happened to get placed on the baritone sax and big band. So Brad heard me play one time in improv class, and he's like, "Hey man, when you play alto, do you feel like you're hearing everything like up in this down in this octave, but you're playing it up here?" And I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly right." And he's like, "Yeah, man, you should just stick with the baritone. You know, you sound more like yourself." And
Wow.
in the band's world, without going too deep, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
time band directors will put the most enthusiastic person and the person with the most energy on baritone, but maybe they don't have a lot of chops. Their fingers aren't like
Mm.
going a mile a minute, but they love to play, and their tone is nice and whatever. So I always thought the baritone was kind of like the B horn because it's like there's in a jazz ensemble situation, especially most of the solos go to the tenor player,
Right.
and lead alto is the more of the section sound leader and all that. So the barrier never gets any solo, so I don't want to play that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, this is jazz. I can do what I want. If I'm in a quintet or if I'm in a small group, I can solo on any instrument. So Brad put me. He's like, hey man, just keep bringing your baritone. You sound great. And I'm like, well, man, I can't afford one. He's like, well, I go to pawn shops all the time. If I find one that's fair price, I'll get one for you, and you can pay me back. So I'm not kidding you. He went, and like a month or so later, he shows up with this old Con Berry that was just for like $800, and he's like, hey man, here, take this, and I'll you just pay me back as you can. So I paid back like through the course of the year and all of that good stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
I he was and is an inspiration, and just to be able to see that and like help me to. I think, especially with music, a lot of it is you're not really teaching anything. You're helping people to just, get through the weeds and get through the stuff that's getting in the way of
Mm-hmm.
actually making music. Like what's preventing you from
Mm.
doing this, and what's preventing you from
Mm-hmm.
getting to this destination, because
Right.
we can be our own worst enemy.
Oh my
So
gosh, yes. Right. I
and it's
dig that completely.
you know and it's like
Completely.
if you're talking to a singer that wants to sound like Billie Holiday, like you don't need to sound like Billie Holiday. Sound like yourself. If
It's
you
the
love Billie Holiday,
comparison
great.
thing. Yeah, it's the
Yes.
comparison thing. It'll
Yeah.
kill you. That's what they say.
Yeah.
Comparison kills, right?
Oh man,
Uh,
no doubt,
so
no doubt. But thanks
so
for asking that question.
yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't thought about that in a long time.
But you should, yeah, you should be ready to answer that question. All questions. That's your passion. It's, and
Yeah,
everybody
absolutely.
does not have that. So it's a gift. So you're
Yeah,
married. Uh,
I am.
being married to a musician, is your wife a musician as well?
She is a
Oh,
phenomenal classical flute player. She would say, "Honey, no, stop," but
mm-hmm.
she's a wonderful flute player. We met at UD, and
Ah, there. Okay.
So there's this, she has a BA in flute, and
Mm-hmm.
also psychology, and she's on the record, jazz advice with the Bright Moments Quintet. I
Right, right.
wrote, even though she doesn't like to improvise, I wrote a duet for us to play on a
Mm-hmm.
tune that we did together. That was super fun. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and we actually met through marching band, which I did not
Oh,
want to be in.
oh, how cute. How cute is
But
that?
oh, I know it's
And you've
great.
been
It
together
was,
ever
yeah,
since, right? You've been together
20
ever since.
years this past
Oh,
September.
that's
Yeah.
great.
So
That's great.
yes,
Now,
and she puts up with a lot.
uh, how has being a family man affected the choices that you've made for your career? As a musician, I mean, there could be traveling, lots of travel. There could
Yes.
be, so how has that affected your choices?
Oh, that's a great question. I try to be very strict with my 6 o'clock rule. So I try to be done with lessons and with whatever I'm doing, professionally at 6 o'clock. Because a long time ago, I remember hearing that the number one way to get your kids to go to college is to have supper together as a family. So you can talk, so you can
Mm,
interact, so you can say like, "Hey, what's going on? Who's bugging you today, or what's gone well today," and that kind of a thing. So I really try to adhere to that rule. I do break it. Usually with Carrie's permission, but like on Thursday nights, I teach at
mm-hmm.
Sinclair where I have
Okay.
where I direct the jazz ensemble there. You know, that's that's an exception to the rule. But I try to follow that rule. But it's also like been great to try to integrate. My youngest daughter Clara is a wicked flute player. And she's
All
really fine
right.
musician. So encouraging her and sticking with her and just checking in with what she's doing. We do get together on
Uh-oh.
and do duets and we got on social media at the beginning of the pandemic. We did our school song, and
Mm,
I arranged it for two flutes, so Carrie and Clara, and
mhm.
clarinet for Isabel, and I played bass clarinet, and it was just a fun, cute thing to do. So we try to do that. And my oldest daughter Isabel, she's involved in the jazz program at Centerville High School. So and I
Okay.
direct the jazz combo. So we'll connect with that, and I'll be like, hey, honey, what tunes do you want to do? Hey, what do you think of this chart? What do you want to what's
Hmm.
going on with this? So that's a fun way to kind of wear my dad hat, but wear my jazz hat at the same time.
Oh, for
And
sure.
and I love the fact that the girls are at an age where they can be honest with me, and it's not going
Hmm.
to hurt my feelings. Like, hey, Dad, that tune was kind of jive, or yeah, Dad, that
Oh,
wasn't a good one. I was
really?
like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Right. Right.
And just because life on life's terms, there's things that are beyond their control, and what are you going to do?
Right.
You just got to go with
Right.
it.
Sure.
That,
So you
yeah, that's a great
have,
question.
yeah. So you have about five projects? Let's see. Just playing around with Dayton Jazz Orchestra, which released in 1999. Serenade in Blue with the CCM Big Band. That's 2001 release. Live
Hmm.
in Centerville, 2010. And Do What You Want to Do, What You Gotta Do. You had a 2007 release. And your most recent is Jazz Advice.
That's
What's
right.
your favorite? What's your favorite out of all of those? What's your favorite?
Oh wow. Um,
And
different
why?
ones for yeah, different ones for different reasons. So if I had to pick one, this is a great example of the family vibe and the musician vibe kind of coming together. So when Isabel was born, I wanted to arrange a tune to kind of celebrate her birth. And the Unity Sax Quartet that you mentioned earlier,
Hmm.
um, we recorded a great tune by Thad Jones called "The Child Is Born." And in each, it's baritone, tenor, alto, and soprano. So, and each represents represents a different character that's kind of come to create this beautiful moment of welcoming our daughter into the world. It was even on a deeply personal level. So I'm adopted. So when Isabel was old enough, I was able to tell her, "Hey, you're the first person I've ever met that I'm actually biologically related to." I mean, I
Oh,
think we're
wow.
all connected,
Right.
as a human as human beings and all of that. But it's like you and then Clara, and that's that's it. I've never done any of the DNA stuff, and I just I don't want to know. I'm good, but it was cool to say that. So the baritone sax was me. The tenor
Hmm.
sax was my in-laws, who have been just
Oh.
very supportive and very loving. And
Hmm.
and Carrie was the alto, and Isabel, of course, was the soprano. So you know,
Hmm.
um, and that's going back, 20 years ago when I did that arrangement and then recorded it and whatever. And it recently came back full circle because about a month or so ago, I got a random email through my website about this guy. This guy Reese David is his name, over in the UK. It's like, hey
Hmm.
Bill, I have a saxophone quartet, and I really liked your arrangement of A Child Is Born. Is it available for sale? And I'm like, well, no, I didn't think anyone would want it. It's just this random
Of course it
saxophone
is.
quartet, but
Right.
and so anyway, long story short, I scanned it in and sent it over to the guy. So there's some sax quartet in the UK playing the tune that I arranged for Isabel, which is just nice to think that
Oh,
that good vibe is continuing.
right.
Um,
That's right. That's
so
wonderful. I've
so it's
always wanted to, all my kids are musically inclined and they have actually recorded and they've done some nice things, but I've always wanted us to do something together. It's just tough, getting
it
everybody in
is.
the same on the same
Yes,
sheet of paper.
yeah, no
But
doubt, no doubt.
all right. So, being a professional musician is a tough, tough life. Is there anything else you would have ever wanted to do? If you
Whew.
weren't a musician, what would you be doing?
Oh man. Well, I tell you, I don't think that it was a choice for me. I didn't see, there was not that day where it's like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. It's just, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to keep doing it.
Oh,
There was a decision made when it came to my educator, role, which I absolutely love. Um,
mm-hmm.
there was a time when it's like, well, maybe a speech pathologist might be a good gig, or maybe like I'd want to be a small business owner, do something like that. But I knew I wanted to do something that affected people, that made a difference in people's lives and helped people. And you know, and I'll be honest with you, at the beginning of my career, it's like, well, I just want to play. So if I'm teaching
Mm-hmm.
music and I'm playing music, that's what I'm doing. So might as well just, do that, because I really, the actual teaching part of it for me, that's free. The work
Yeah.
is the lesson planning and the setting up and the tearing down and
Uh-oh, am I losing you?
with the kids. It's kind of like
Oh.
I'm on a gig, but, instead of playing.
Uh-oh. Did we lose you? I think we lost him. Let's see if we can get him back. Bill, I'm gonna call him. He's probably still talking. This internet stuff. Watch, he'll be still talking. Ah, there
Hey,
he is.
Kelly. Sorry, what happened?
It looks like I lost you. Wait a minute.
I know what happened.
Uh, it says you
Can you see
joined,
me?
but I don't see you. I'm on the phone now. Okay, let's hang up
Okay.
and join again. Okay.
Okay, sounds
All
good.
right. Bye. See, it's this technical stuff we have to deal with. That's okay though. It's all right. He's coming back, right? Right? Oh man. Nope, I don't want to end the stream. Well, let's end it and come back. Keep streaming. Oh well, I think we lost Bill for the moment. Give us a minute. See what we can do to get him back. Guests. There he is. All right.
Okay. All right. Am I back? All right. Here we
Yeah,
go.
we're back. I said, I thought Bill's probably still talking, doesn't know he's gone. But Yeah,
All right.
sometimes the internet just, I guess, kicks you out. I haven't experienced that yet, but first time for everything. Now you're frozen. Oh, let's see. Oh man, I can't hear you. That's all. Third time's a charm. That's only second time.
Okay. Are we back?
We're back. We're back.
Okay, cool.
All right, we're gonna push it, I guess. I don't know. We're gonna push
All
our
right,
I
sound
don't know. I don't know what's going on.
good.
Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah. All right.
let's
It's all good.
I want to thank you so much for
So
joining, and I want you to tell
you
us
got it.
what you guys are going to be doing at the the Winter Jazz Series on the 20th. Who you
Yeah.
bringing and what are you going to be doing?
Sounds That sounds great. So it'll be the quartet. With all due respect, we have $1 million rhythm section. I mean, Brian Cashwell on piano, Chris Berg
Mm.
on bass, Jim Mosey on drums. And one of the things the group likes to bring attention to is Ohio's contributions to the world of jazz. Through composition and arrangements and things like that. So the great Joe Henderson is from Lima, Ohio. We're going to do some of his tunes. Great Billy Strayhorn, born in Dayton, but later on with the Duke Ellington Orchestra via Pittsburgh, then via Harlem. We're doing some Billy Strayhorn stuff. Some of our original stuff. Over quarantine, we've been writing different things, different contrafacts, so alternate melodies over different tunes. And actually, one tune that's oddly appropriate, unfortunately, it's an old tune by Gary Somalian, one of my favorite Barry players. And the title of the song, I'm not kidding you, is Omicron,
Oh Lord.
which is I didn't know this.
Oh
Yeah, I
wow.
know. Isn't that
Yes.
crazy? So I did that. I lifted that from an album called Hidden Treasures about a year and a half ago, and it's an alternate melody to the tune "All the Things You Are," which is a
Hmm.
jazz
Yeah.
standard. And so anyway, we're gonna do Omicron and a tune called
Oh
Quarantine
yeah.
Blues, which is just kind of this pent up kind of angry musical release of the
Right,
pandemic.
right, right. We need that. We need that for sure.
So
Well, I'm excited to have you
yeah,
guys. Um,
for sure.
People can follow you on Facebook. You have a Facebook page. Your website is
Yes,
billburnsjazz.com, so they can follow you there. And are you
yes,
gonna you guys okay, oh, that's right. You're at the Hidden Gym every first Sunday, right? Every first
that's
Sunday.
correct. The first Sunday of every month.
Okay.
Yeah,
In
the Hidden
Centerville.
Gem in Centerville, and
Right. Great.
yeah, and 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 Kelly, I just have to thank you for being a gem in the Gem City for all that you do to promote live music, live jazz, and for
Oh,
keeping people connected. That's what
I'm
we need more of.
trying. I tell you, I appreciate that. But I love the music. I love performing when I can, and I think I
Sure.
find more pleasure out of bringing people together. Like that's my favorite thing to do. So, um,
Amen. Amen.
definitely, it's nothing for me. Um, what else did I want to say to you? Thank you. And I'm
Oh, you are most welcome.
so excited to hear you guys on the 20th. And for those listening, be sure and like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel, Jazz Voices. And you can get tickets to the Winter Jazz Series at jazzvoices.org. Okay, anybody who wants to come out, don't miss it. We have Bill Burns, we have the Bright Moments Quartet on the 20th, Keigo Hirakawa Quartet on the 27th, and the 10th of February, C. Backus and Company, and the 17th, Brandon Coleman Trio. So I'm hyped. I'm ready. It's going to be recorded, and I'm just glad. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
And
It's a pleasure to
yeah,
be on such a great lineup. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, so much. And I guess that's all we can talk about this evening. Do you have anything to say?
I just want to thank people who have been coming out
Hmm.
and supporting music. With with all the health protocols and all that. I
Yes.
appreciate that as well. And this is Bright Moments is something that we all need more of. And it's actually not an original name. There's a great multi instrumentalist, Roland Kirk, that has a song called Bright Moments that has been influential to me. And I hope that we can keep bringing those bright moments to our listeners in Dayton and via the web, thanks to people like you, Kelly.
Right. And buy the CD, people. You can get it at CD Baby and also iTunes, right?
That's right.
I didn't see your most recent CD on iTunes though. Am I correct in that? Or
It would
Jazz
be
Advice?
listed. It would be listed under the Bright Moments Quintet.
Okay, that's why then.
Yeah,
Okay, so
yeah,
that's on
cool.
iTunes too. Buy the CD. Don't You can stream it, but I
Yeah,
always encourage people to buy it.
that's right.
Well, thanks
That's right.
again, and we'll talk to you soon. All right,
All right. Thank
take
you.
care. Thanks.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Peace. Bye bye.